Few days to election 2020, just yesterday, 2 days ago, we've had a lot of press conferences from the two leading political parties. Let me hear something from the NDC, Joshua Essel. Why the numerous press conferences? Because realistically, 99.9% of Ghanaians, including floating voters and party sympathizers, have made up their mind who should vote for in 2 days' time. So why the continuous press conferences, Joshua?
Okay, so I don't think that, first of all, the question is in the right direction because the NDC started doing press conferences way before this whole election time. I mean, prior to elections, there was a plan to have weekly press conferences and updates on what the NDC has been up to and what is happening in the country.
Okay.
Since I think 6 months now. So every single week there has been a press conference. Hence, press conferences coming late whilst we are drawing near to elections has nothing to do with, in quotes, excess press conference. And there's already a plan that has been laid out by the National Democratic Congress to have these press conferences every week. Hence, we are just cause.
Oh, okay. So it means that the press conferences we are seeing from the NDC is just part of their weekly press conference as scheduled.
Yes, please.
Oh, okay. Good. And what has been, you realize that there has been a counter from the MPP. Let me hear the MPP why they've also sought to a new strategy of press conferencing, which has not been the norm for the MPP. Kwame Daakun, can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can hear you.
Good. The NDC has a weekly press conferencing which has been known to the whole country. 2 days ago, your campaign team, the MPP, just hit the country with new strategies of press conferencing, which has not been the norm for the MPP. What's happening? You are in power. Are you afraid of something? Talk to us.
Yeah, my brother. I know the NDCs are doing the press conference because of panic.
You think the NDC's press conference is due to panic?
It's panic.
But they've started 6 months ago and there hasn't been panic then.
They have been doing that. Let me tell you.
Talk to me.
The work the MPP we are doing is on the ground. We are going from door to door, community to community, village to village, city to city, telling the Ghanaians the good work of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and the MPP government, so that the people will know. The press conference, which is sometimes is good, and maybe I know 2 days ago we did, just also to update the general public on what is happening in the government. So it's not a panic from the party office. It's just, hey, there is a need also to address the nation of what is happening. But if you are having frequent series of press conference with nothing on the ground, it's very concerning. If you are an NDC guy or person, you'll be very concerning because I can be honest, where we have been to is barely you see NDC doing even a campaign.
Wow.
Within the communities.
That is in the Volta region.
I'm in one of their stronghold right now.
That's Volta region, right?
I've been, yes, Volta region.
And you think the NDC hasn't done any competitive campaign in terms of winning the election in the Volta region?
They always think that this is their World Bank.
And that is true.
What, they will vote for them. Our narrative have been different.
Okay.
People have repented, but it's hard to come out.
Kwame, before you continue, Kwame, I have Joshua Essel from the NDC who is also listening to us as well. You are saying that your visit to the Volta region indicates that the NDC hasn't done a lot of campaign because of complacency.
Correct.
Few days ago, the flag bearer was at Hohwe and he pulled the crowd to supersede the ideology that John Peter Amew is pulling crowds to win the elections as member of parliament. You know, he started way back in the early 2000s and he has never won. So how come all of a sudden you going to house in the Volta region tells you that the people of the Volta region shall vote for the MPP?
let me tell you something. What is happening?
Yeah, talk to us.
You come and you pull crowd. Just because definitely even not even go to come to Hawaii, you go to Hawaii, you book crowd.
And these crowds will be vast, don't you think so?
Yes. So in the general sense, yes, everywhere you go, as president and the flag bearer of the opposition party, you book crowd. But when it comes to the grounds, are you reaching out to the grassroots of your own people? And they have been abandoned for a long time. Even when they were in government, they didn't see any much development for the voter region. They went to opposition, and now NPP government have done massively with all programs.
But Kwame, let me take you back to the Ashanti region, where you have your stronghold. You know, initially I've been discussing this with you and General Sami, that I'm one of the few who don't buy into the idea of stronghold, because it actually cripples creativity and then the use of ideologies, because people believe that if you belong to the NPP and you are from the Ashanti region, whether it is a cat in coat that is on the ballot paper, you need to vote the same thing to the NDC and the voter region. I've been one of the few who think that it's time for us to have an open space. Meanwhile, let's get to the Ashanti region. The NPP stronghold is the Ashanti region. Is that not it?
Yeah, let me tell you.
Talk to me.
Let me tell you the difference. And I know this one, that's my first time coming to the voter region.
Okay.
And I was surprised. I'm in Ashanti region. Even supporting NPP, Ashanti region have seen a massive development, whether in government or out of government, because of the ground.
So do you think? Wait, Kwame, you wait. Kwame, you hold on for me. The former president, John Dramani Mahama, went to visit Otumfuo Osei-Tutu, and in his visit, he listed a lot of developmental projects that the NDC ex-war administration did for the people of the Ashanti region. Though they still lost, but those were evident. They were not Green Book evidence, but those were evidence, that is physical evidence, to show that the NDC did a lot for the Ashanti region. As I speak to you now, there has been the perception that the new Patriotic Party government now has abandoned the Ashanti region to Eastern. And you still believe that the people will vote for you?
Let me tell you, if we ask Mahama, what did you do for Ashanti region? We'll tell you these things. We'll tell you Kumasi Airport and then the market.
So what has the NPP done for Ashanti region?
Let me tell you, in Ashanti region, the major problem that we have run into is roads. Very, very poor. Even my own Obuasi, roads is a challenge.
Wow.
But we all stick with the NPP government. But the NPP government in the years of road, the Ashanti region is now seeing some of the massive roads, either in the inner cities, and various roads are being constructed, either in construction, under construction, or being almost completed.
Okay.
And that's the key that we are telling the Ashanti region, that it's not like we have abandoned them. And you can see even Obuasi itself, AGA, was employing over 5,000 people under the NDC government. It collapsed, and where small-scale mining or illegal galamsey was even made more popular and take over a very corporate concession.
Okay.
So these are the things that add to it. You cannot say that Ashanti region
Kwame,
from the sitting government.
Before I move to the NDC to give a rebuttal, then General Sami will come and then equalize it. Let me get this clear. You are in power. You are in government. Is that it?
Yes.
You visited the Volta region. You realize that there has been less developmental projects over time. Your government, in quote, neglected the Volta region when at the State of the Nation address, the year of rules, they couldn't benefit because they were forgotten, in quotes. Today, you went to the Volta region and you are campaigning to win an election at a region whose roads are west of historically, looking at the Eastern Corridor Road as well, one of the major roads that have been west of. You were able to forget that road in the State of the Nation address. But you go back there to campaign. On what are you campaigning? Because as you are in government, you should be able to sort the problem.
Let me tell you. see, these are I think these are the dynamics that we have. Okay, who it itself might not some of, and I know some of the roads are where we have been. Some of the roads are way better than what is in Ashanti region. In the course, development cannot happen just only in the 4 years.
Okay.
In the course of over 28 years, whether MPP, which NDC have ruled most in this country and in their stronghold, the key is other infrastructures besides roads, which I know is Jerry Papa J, which is so rest in peace. That's when most of the roads were being done for the Volta region. One is talk about ways to make employment, bring factories, and trying to raise up more economic impact for the region is where we are lacking.
Okay.
And then you have majority of the MPs from the Volta region, and that's when they began to you will begin to play politics with it.
Good. You know that the majority of now. I want you are pushing me to a certain direction, which I've planned for the next discussion. That is the role of MPs. Actually, MPs are not developmentalists. But why should we? It means, and you are in government. Even when the NDC MP, when the NDC MP brings,
I will leave that one to Brother Samit to talk about those things.
He's
about reality.
Yeah, he is a neutral.
The people will want to hear that. If we go on the book of the parliamentary candidate, to me and you, it will never fly anywhere, and it doesn't exist.
Oh, okay.
We can talk about the book, but when it comes to the ground,
they
expect their MP to make sure their community centers are set up.
And there's a need for, I think there's a need for a voter education on the role of MPs.
And that's why, and I'm coming to land on the point, that's why the PSHS is very important. Because we need to educate the masses. When you educate the masses, some of these things will be even gone. Like if someone, a literate person, now who becomes a floating voter, can discern that, okay, if you are telling that you're going to do developmental program, which it is not your role, you are legislative, you have to go to parliament. So then you are lying to me. And it will take a time for Ghana to get to that level.
Oh, okay.
And it comes with education.
All right, sure.
For now, if we are doing the grassroots politics, and if you go out there, my brother, to get a vote or to pursue people to go out and vote for you, definitely they want to hear a developmental plan of the parliamentary candidate.
Kwame, let me get to Kwame. Let me keep some questions in mind before I get to Joshua Essel. The principles of the NPP, they are more of a capitalist, party, but it seems to be diverting the principles, the ideologies, to more of a socialist party. But I'll come to you. Joshua Essel, are you there, please?
I am there.
Good.
I'm listening to the about
the MPP has made a lot of allegations, counter allegations, saying that you didn't develop your stronghold for the lot of years you've been in power. From the Rollins, he said you only deal with roads during the Rollins' era, but during the new modern era of politics, then this is stronghold, the Volta region, hence Volta Uti, hasn't seen that development. Is he right?
First of all, I would like to say that he's not right.
You think he's not right?
It's a big lie. So first of all, I would just like him to know that the main reason why Ashanti region is enjoying development, regardless what political party is in power, is because first of all, the NDC believes in an all-inclusive government, which means that we are not tribal bigots, which means that in as much as that particular region is not our region. I mean, we are not like the current president who went to Pong to say that, the people of Pong Katamaso don't vote for him, hence they don't have any moral rectitude to ask for development. This is not a party like that. This is a party that has been structured across social democracy, social democracy, which means that everyone and anyone matters. So if you listen to the late founder of our great party, may he still rest in perfect peace. In one of his speeches in the late 90s, was saying that the Ashanti region is the middle point of the country. Hence, anything that is supposed to move from the north to the southern part of the country would definitely and most likely pass through the Ashanti region. Hence, there's a need for development to start in the Ashanti region, that's the middle part, have some started in the northern part, have some started in the southern part. So if you remember, it's during the NDC that we had the creation of Upper West and Upper East to make sure that these far extreme north of this particular country also experiences development. So if anyone is supposed to come to you and give you that big fat lie that the NDC has neglected its base, I think that it's a big lie. And then secondly, the base of the NDC is the Volta region and the Voltarians, not because they are antagonistic of the NPP or the antagonists of the Ashantis, but it's because of the history of this country and how, in quotes, some individuals have always found a way throughout our history to sideline some section of people. I mean, we can talk about the rulings of a champion and then a free find all those people. We don't want to go back because like what I always say, there's no need to fight or cry over spilt milk. We need to see the way forward.
Okay.
I mean, the NDC also put up a market in the Volta region. The NDC started the Eastern Corridor roads, and in as much as the current government neglected them in their State of Nation address, the NDC has still said and is saying that when we come back to power, we would continue this road because we know that we have a very vindictive president. We have a president who is very unforgiving. We have a president who is very intolerant. Hence, would have the audacity to tell people that, you know what, you didn't vote for me, so you can't even ask me, you can't even ask for development for me, forgetting that every development or every part of this nation is what we call Ghana. As far as they are in that walls or boundaries that is demarcated to be Ghana, each and every person is supposed to have that kind of development, regardless. Because in as much as we run on political ideas and political parties to win elections, the moment there is a president for Ghana. There's a president who stands for every single individual in Ghana, whether the person is within the boundaries of the nation or outside. So if you have a president who would blatantly neglect individuals because they did not vote for them, then I think we have a very big problem as a nation because we've still not grasped that idea of national development yet.
All right. Joshua, let me get to General Sami. General Sami is a political analyst at the Department of Political Science at the University of Ghana. General Sami.
I'm here.
Good. Let me start on this note, the Pon Katamanso statement by the president. Do you think that comment is morally justified?
Well, if I recollect, you mean the statement that the people of Katamanso do not vote for?
Good.
Right.
From a perspective of a political analyst and a developmentalist ideologically, you think that comment from the president was appropriate?
Well, you see, we've come to a point in Ghana where someone says one thing and it's a crime, it's bad, but the other person says it the next time and it's no longer a crime. It is unfortunate that a certain president will make a statement like this. But what makes it more disturbing is the fact that the people who spoke against President John Mahama when he passed the comment that even if you use gold to tarred roads for Ashanti people, they will still vote for the NPP. You know, you don't see those people condemning the statement the president made. I think that, I mean, as a father of the nation, you need to be able to bring people together. You need to be a unifier. So certain statements need not to come from you. When John Mahama made those statements, every single soul in this country vilified him. But unfortunately, we've not seen that same reaction from these same people when the president made that statement. I think it is unfortunate. It shouldn't have happened in the first place.
Yeah, because let me come in. I think when he made the statement, I was having a discussion with a friend who is outside this country, and he was shocked actually that is coming from the president. But I think the president might have been gingered politically. Because sometimes when you're on the platform, you can talk anyhow. Later, you get home and realize that no, there is no helping me. So let's take it that. I know this will be a topic for discussion, where we question the the morality aspect of the president's statement and how it can affect the general elections 2 days time. But before I go there, Sami, let me start something new with you. 2 days ago, there was a video, and this video is purported to be a bribe scandal that involves the president, who is candidate Akufo-Addo, president of the republic currently, taking $40,000 alleged bribe. And then this video has been in two folds, where one fold says that the president was bribed, another says he wasn't bribed. Now, the NDC aired the video on Adom TV. Adom retracted. They came out of an apology saying that they are sorry for airing the video. That is an allegation. Then the NDC came out again and said, no, Adom TV and multimedia should apologize to the NDC for their apology to the nation. Now, the NPP also come back again and said that, look, we have the original video. Then people begin to question the integrity of whoever makes such a comment, that if I am an investigative journalist and I come to investigate you and I get a video, you, the one I investigated, and me, the investigator, who has the original video? Are you getting my point, General Sami?
I do.
It has been a brouhaha, but I always say that these issues are being looked at from only the floating voters' perspective, because sympathizers don't care about anything corruption. They don't care. Even if they will care, it's at its best minimum. But the floating voters look at all this to make decision in 2 days' time. What do you have to say about that, General Sami?
Well, first of all, when you started the show.
Hello? Hello, can you hear me, please? Hello?
I think
Are you talking to me?
No, I'm talking to General Sami, if you can hear me.
that
General Sami, can you hear me? General Sami? General Sami? General Sami, your feedback was bad. Can you still go over for us, please? Yeah, General Sami?
Hello?
Yeah, I think your network, can you position yourself a bit
Can you
better?
hear me now? Yes, I can.
Yeah, can you hear me? Because we can't hear you here.
Hear you clearly.
General Sami, are you back?
Um,
Good, good. Can you go over? Yeah, it's very clear.
can you hear me now?
Very clear. Let's go over, please.
Okay. So I was saying that when you started your introduction, you made mention of the fact that people have made up their minds already, and so this back and forth from both NPP and DC don't really matter in these last minutes. I beg to differ.
Wow, okay.
There are thousands of people who are yet to decide. I am one of those people. I'm yet to decide who to
Great.
vote for.
And these are the floating
Even though
voters.
we have, well, you know my position on
Sure.
floating voters.
Sure.
So, but and I think I didn't get the opportunity to react to the back and forth press conferences by both political parties. I would like to quickly
Good.
clear that. And then. So in the last 48 hours, a lot has happened. Press conferences back to back. First, it started with political parties and their promise on scholarship and making university free. The NDC quickly amended its manifesto to say that the instead of the policy change now, it's funding meaning they're going to pay school fees for all first years when they win political power. The NPP also released a statement through the scholarship secretariat saying that, look, we are going to pay for the fees of the first batch of the SHS students, the free SHS batch. this is refreshing, but it becomes disturbing when political parties, few days to elections, make such big promises. What it means is that there's not been any deep thought into it, because it should have been factored into your manifesto in the first place. If you make a decision, last minute decision now, what it means is that going to the future, you are now going to make appropriations for this policy to materialize. What it
Yeah.
means is also that it is going to have significant impact on our budget. Already we know the national debt and all that. And so adding more freebies to manifestos only worries the country fiscal. I mean, our fiscal strength becomes a problem. But aside from that, to the video that was aired by the NDC on Adom TV
Yeah.
last 3 days or 4 days, you know, I learned the NPP quickly organized a press conference to refresh Ghanaians' memory on
Airbus scandal.
Airbus,
Yeah.
that there's been an update and that new development. I didn't have the opportunity to listen to that press conference, but what it tells me is that both political parties are desperate and
Yeah.
both of them are scared. And it shows that they are doing whatever they can um, to tarnish the image of the other.
Yeah.
Not to tarnish per se, but to find something to stake. You remember in 2016, corruption was one of the major issues in the run up to the election. And the political parties have tried as much as they can to make it a big issue now. To the actual video, the truth of the matter is that I do not know which to believe, whether the original or the fake. Now nobody knows what
And
is
we don't know
original.
which is the original and which is the fake.
Exactly, exactly. But you see, I don't think it's even important to know which one is
An
the
action
original,
took
which one,
place.
because
The content of the
no
action.
matter, yes, yes, no matter how you look at it, something went on. So what that tells me as a political scientist is that we need to look at, as a country, campaign financing in this country. We have fine laws that define how campaigns are to be financed. Unfortunately, as with any of our laws, we do not ensure strict adherence, and so you see all forms of all forms of things happening in the election. If a CEO or an executive director of a national agency um, goes to the president and says that, look, I want to help finance your campaign. What it means is that if
It's on a
this
purpose.
person wins an election, yes, if this person wins an election, that person becomes untouchable. I
Yeah.
mean, the one who finance become untouchable. And so I would join some of our professors like Professor Jampo in saying that maybe, even though we do not have enough, but I think that a time has come for us to look at how, as a nation, we can finance political parties. Other countries do it. That we set aside some money and give to the political parties and prevent them from taking monies from private individuals, which is not bad. Supporting campaign is not bad. But you see, on our part of the world, once someone donates something, you owe the person, and you have to return the favor by hook or crook. That is, if you get the nod. It happens elsewhere, but again, this is Africa and this is Ghana. We cannot we cannot say that yes, there are donors in the United States. Don't, private individuals finance campaigns all the time, so it is not a bad thing in Ghana. But the truth is, if you look at our political architecture, it is dangerous for something like that to happen. So I think that it is important for us at this time to look going forward into how we can set some money aside for the political parties. I'm not talking about the 12 political parties on the ballot.
All the parties.
I'm talking about no, I'm talking about parties that have stamina, parties that meet certain threshold that we will set, so that we don't have proliferation of political parties across board. Otherwise, everybody would say that, look, there's money. If I form a political party, the country will give me money, so let me just form.
Oh,
There
okay.
should be some threshold that if you meet, you qualify for state funding for your campaigns. Because as it stands, I do not have any evidence, but for my point of view, we have external sources, external parties, or external companies funding political campaigns, and that is dangerous. That is even against the 1992 Constitution, that foreigners cannot sponsor political campaigns in this country. But if you look into it, it is happening.
Yeah.
And so once the person wins power, he or she is not in control, and someone else is in control. So again, no matter how you look at the video, I think that it is important for us to rethink how we finance campaigns.
I'll be coming back to you. I'll be coming back to you to continue this discussion. Let me hear something from the two party reps. Then in 30 seconds each, and I'll come back to you. All right. Joshua Essel. Joshua, are you there, please? Joshua.
Yeah. Hear me?
Yeah, Joshua, are you back?
Yeah, I'm back.
Good. I'm sure you heard General Sami.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm sure you heard General Sami's input. He is also talking about, we are discussing the $40,000 bribery scandal and its effect on the elections. And General Sami started something, but I decided to interject, bring you twos before he continues. And then the issue is, we have two videos that are purported to be coming from an investigator and maybe a culprit or a victim. So the culprit here is the president, that is your candidate, is said to be engaged in a $40,000 bribery scandal. Now, we are aware that the NDC released this video. Then your party came back to say that no, you have the original video of the originals. Let me put it that way. We are trying to understand these two videos and the impact on the election. Your party is saying that, look, this is a criminal act. But the NPP is also saying that, look, they have the original video, so yours is fake. Is your video the right video or the fake video? Talk to us, Joshua. Yeah, Joshua, can you hear me? Yeah, Joshua, can you hear me, please? Yeah, Joshua, can you hear me? Yeah, Joshua, are you there? Yeah, Joshua, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Good,
I can hear you.
good. I think you had a
network was
yeah. We realized it. We realized you had a network problem. We are saying that. I'm sure you had a question about the $40,000 bribery scandal. Your party, the NDC, is alleging. Is your video the correct video? Yeah, Joshua, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Good, I can hear you now.
Yeah, please repeat the question again.
Yes, your party, the National Democratic Congress, aired a video in an alleged $40,000 bribery scandal that has hit the presidency, which involved the president himself, who is a candidate of the MPP. Do you think your video is the correct video? Since they are also saying they have the original video. Who owns the original video?
So then, first of all, I think that the only way we can get to the bottom of this, whether it's original or not, has to do with the individual or the group who filmed it. I mean, they're the people in the best position to give response to that particular matter. First of all, I personally, I have my own principle, and I don't have conversations on that particular tangent because first of all, I feel like there's a lot of message that we have for the people of Ghana that we can preach instead of, focus on things like that. Because first of all, I think that this particular presidency has been muddied enough with enough corruption and
So,
enough corrupt act that can be pinpointed directly to them that whether this video is relevant, is true, is false or not, shouldn't even be a yardstick for discussion whether the presidency is corrupt or not. I mean, I think that this is supposed to be an icing on the cake. The cake is already there. I mean, talk about the Kroll and Associates, talk about the Japan, talk about PDS, talk about even right now the unaccounted for money for our oil revenue, and all different mini pockets of scandals and corruption. Ameri deal, so many. So I think that this particular video shouldn't be a reason why the MPP would have a very big press conference about it and then act as if, okay, yes, let's just say this video is fake. Is PDS fake? Is a Japa fake? Is Ameri deal fake?
Okay, so you are of the
Is
view
Kroll
that
Associates, are they fake? They are not.
Joshua, so you have the view that look, the NPP has, in quotes, a lot of dirty secrets. Adding this wouldn't make impact. Let's go push our agenda. Is that what you mean?
Yes, I just mean that whether this video is fake or not, or whatever the whole video is, it still doesn't take away the fact that this government has caused more financial loss to the state than any other government in the history of Ghana.
Understood. Well understood. Let me get to Kwame. I'll come back to you.
Take away that fact that this government has fought corruption, has fought individuals, has fought corruption than any other government. I mean, we can talk about we can talk about Matinami, we can talk about Manessa Zuri openly saying that he's not feeling safe under this particular government. We can talk about that has fought individuals fighting corruption. I mean, how many people in Ghana are against the police, if not thieves? So this government, I mean, they shouldn't even make their analysis and I mean, bank their hopes on touting a video fake or not to salvage their image. I mean, their image is beyond repairs, and I mean, it's cast in stone that they are corrupt and they are causing financial loss to the state. Hence, they should be kicked out. And like what I say, I mean, I heard my Sami talking about the rush to bring in policies and all those things. First of all, I have a different view about it because I always say one thing. If you want to compare anything that has to do with democracy, we all have comparison with America, not because, I mean, in quotes, there's some similarities in their election trend, but it's because they are the oldest democracy in the world, over 200 years of democracy. And if Sami was following this particular elections judiciously, you'll get to know that President-elect Joe Biden changed his plans for COVID so many times that even when counting was ongoing and he was named president-elect, he still made changes to the plan of COVID.
So you have the view that it doesn't necessarily matter. So you think it doesn't necessarily matter?
Secondly, I mean,
the change.
I mean, I'm just going to say that changes can be made to policy documents. So Sami trying to tell me that if today a war is supposed to break in Cote d'Ivoire or in Togo, the political parties don't have the right to change their foreign policy.
This is interesting. I'll get Sami to respond to that.
There's already a policy document, hence that shouldn't be done. Policy documents and then government of a nation comes with the need and so many things. I don't want to give insider information on the supposed promise from the scholarship secretariat on the absorption of free SHS. First of all, I mean, if a scholarship secretariat comes up and say that I want to absorb free SHS graduate, this goes a long way to deepen the already existing cracks of nepotism in this particular country. Because I mean, this actually shows that if you were completed school in, let's say, 2018 and decided to even enter in the university this year, the government is saying that, you know what, because you're not part of my free SHS, I'm not going to absorb your fees. This goes a long way to say that this government is still being nepotistic, regardless of every policy they are bringing out even this last minute. And it's not an all-inclusive policy, because if they are going to absorb free SHS students, what if I completed school in 2018, I want to go to school this year? Does that mean that I'm
You
not part of
wouldn't
the scholarship
benefit.
secretariat? I don't merit it. I wouldn't benefit from it. So I don't want to go into the intricacies of all those things because I feel like
Joshua,
first of
Joshua,
all, it's still going on to yes.
I think you've raised salient points on that topic. Let me get to the MPP, pass through Sami, then I'll get back to you. Keep these points, I'll come back to that.
Okay.
All right, Kwame Daakun.
Okay.
Kwame.
Yeah.
Good. You've heard a lot from General Sami's assertions through to the NDC's Joshua Essel's contribution. $40,000 bribery scandal and its effect on the election. What do you have to say from the MPP? You are saying you have the original video, which is a fake video. Kwame, talk to us. Kwame, are you there? Good, good. Can you raise the voice a bit? Yeah, Kwame. Yeah, your network is a bit disturbing if you can reposition. All right, Kwame's network is a bit disturbing. Let me go to General Sami. I'll come back to Kwame. General Sami,
I'm here. I can hear you.
I want you to give an interjection to what the NDC's rep Joshua Essel just said. Then,
Oh, definitely.
then we continue with the discourse from your side before we come back to the MPP.
Okay.
All right.
Joshua made a very fantastic point when he said, when he actually points holes into the NPP promise of offering scholarship to the first batch of pre-SC.
Yeah, I think that comment is very, very necessary for us to go into.
Yes, it's a fantastic point, and I agree with him. That is why I said making last-minute changes to important policies like this have implications, because what it means is that deep thought didn't go into it, and it's an example of what Joshua said. So based on the NPP through the scholarship secretariat, is that telling us that if I completed in 2014 and for one or two reasons I couldn't enter the university that I plan to enter in 2021, because of the pre-SHS, I'm not going to have that opportunity, or because of the scholarship, I'm not going to have that opportunity. It means that a lot of thought didn't go into this. I can assure you that there's no implementation plan whatsoever to this policy, because it was a rushed decision, it was an afterthought decision. But I strongly disagree with Joshua when he makes comparison between making last-minute changes to policies on certain issues. Changes happen. Once we are in human setting, changes are inevitable. Plans change. But you see, a policy like offering scholarship to students shouldn't be an afterthought. If you really care, it shouldn't be an afterthought. There shouldn't be an amendment to this. He made comparison to Joe Biden revising his COVID-19 guidelines and policies over and over again. Indeed, that is expected, because COVID-19 keeps evolving. It's an evolving situation. So you have to adjust to the trend and make sure that you keep at pace with whatever is happening. In the time of war, as he cited, you need to make plans. You need to readjust and reposition yourself. Your foreign policy can quickly change based on the dynamics or the situation at hand. It changes all the time. But when you make a static policy like offering scholarship to students, you and quickly turn around and say, okay, this time I'm offering. And the way it happened tells me that it is either the NPP. Well, now I'm going with the NDC because the NDC made that promise first. So the NDC made the promise. Then quickly NPP came to make a promise that it is also offering scholarship. What it tells you is that it's quickly to it's solely to win an election and not really about offering a scholarship to. I don't doubt that when any of them win, that will be implemented. But indeed, as with any policy, because there's not been any deep thought into it, the implementation is going to be a problem. And when we get there, we will realize that this was a rushed decision. They didn't think deeply, and we will have problems. So yes, I agree. Policies must change, but not with important stagnant policies like offering scholarships to students. I mean, this shouldn't have been altered. You see, a good quality of a leader is that you need to be decisive. You need to know what you are saying. You don't say that, okay, I'm offering free maternity health care. Then tomorrow you come and say that I'm revising it. Now I'm adding this or that. Yes, it's a good thing. You need to add on. But what came up? Why is the sudden change? Something must have happened, and that is what we are interested in. What happened? So we have to ask the NDC what happened that they quickly revised that decision to offer scholarships to students. To me, it's for political gains and not, it's for political expediency and not for the good of the people. Even though it's a good policy, yes, it's a good policy, but the timing makes it suspicious. Just like with the NPP, a good policy, people have gone through a lot during the COVID-19 period. People need relief packages. People need some form of assistance with their wars, with their bills, with their medical expenses, even with their daily bread. People need assistance. But when you make a rash decision like this, it tells us that it's for political expediency and not really about the people. Yeah.
Before I get the NDC back on track, let me ask this. Joshua made a comment which I think we need to look into that comment and the effect on the elections. Joshua is of the view that, look, if you say free SHS graduates are to get the benefits of the doubt to get to the university for free, what happens to those who are not free SHS graduates who are also planning to go to school this year? Sammy, what do you have to say about that?
Yes, that's why I said it is important for us to be decisive and to know what we are about as a country. You know, this was an afterthought, clearly an afterthought. Just like I think last night I saw a release of nurses that have been posted to hospitals, to their various places to go and start work. I did, and sincerely, and honestly speaking, if you are being true to ourselves, we know that this is not about the nurses, it is about politics. And because these people have completed the nursing training colleges for about 3 years now. They've been picketing at the Ministry of Health, and they've been contacting, writing letters back and forth. Some even went to sleep at the Ministry of Health for days. They were not posted. We have less than 72 hours to election. Then you say, I've posted you. You see, in effect, what you are doing is that you are baiting the person. Okay, so vote for me. Because this posting that has even come out cannot be authenticated until after election, because yesterday was not a holiday where a lot of people didn't go to work. Monday, which is an election day, is a holiday. So even if the person has been posted, he still has to go and vote before he's able to move to where he or she has been posted to be sure that indeed he has been posted. So when you release a letter last minute, when you know the person cannot even verify whether he or she has been posted, then you are being deceptive and you are being hypocritical. So what prevented you? All this work would have posted the person. You waited till last minute. So decisions, after decisions like this, do not augur well for us. Our people have gone through a lot as Ghanaians, as Africans, as blacks. We've gone through a lot. I think that it is time for our leaders to take us seriously and look at what their colleagues elsewhere are doing and emulate that, so that our lives can become better. Okay. I have a NAPO personnel in my office who has worked for 10 months and has not been paid.
Wow.
Sometimes
10 months?
I just want 10 months. I just want to tell him not to come to work, because this is a person who is dedicated. He's a young man who could have been on the streets, who could have held a gun, but we promised to give him monthly stipend, and so he should come to work. for 10 solid months, it's not been paid. So honestly, how do you expect such a person to survive? So if last minute, 3 days to election, you come to say that, okay, now your money has been released, all 10 months released, so go and cash out. What does it tell us? What it says is that you want him to vote for you. You deliberately held his allowance for him to suffer, so that last minute you would pay him for him to sing your praises. And that is Machiavellian tactics. If you read about Machiavelli, you would realize that that is exactly how he operates. And I think that this government has been on the side of Machiavelli for a very long time, right from day one. It has manipulated the system, and I'm not being biased here. This is a fair assessment. It has taken Ghanaians through hell. Then it will say, okay, I've fixed it. Just like Donald Trump. There's no problem. He will create the problem, then fix it, and ask for people to praise him. That is what has happened. And so Joshua shouldn't think that I don't like good things. I don't like good policies. Indeed, if students are going to school for free, I'm happy. My kid brother completed SHS this year, and so I'm expecting that next year he will enter university for free. But my point is, these decisions have implications for the country and the economy. Looking at first debt to GDP ratio and other factors.
Okay.
If we start promising free and free and free without any solid plan to actually finance these from the state coffers, then it means that going into 2021, 2022, the citizenry will suffer the consequences. John Mahama himself has admitted that in one of his interviews that if he becomes president in 2021, he knows that he's going to carry a lot of baggage. And he's aware.
That is true. Whoever wins this election is not going to sleep happily.
Yes. You understand? So because as we speak, the president promised free water, free electricity for some category of people. As we speak, no monies have been released to Ghana Water Company. No money has been released to the Electricity Company Limited. And so I don't know how they are even operating.
Yeah.
So if we enter after the election, electricity company comes to say that the government owes, based on this policy, we've supplied electricity to this number of customers or consumers, and so the government has to reimburse the ECG with 3 billion. This is going to have an impact on whatever budget we're going to make. And so if you keep promising free, I understand the urge for political parties to try to do whatever they can to win an election. But the truth is that you have to look at the citizenry and know the implications it has for them. Because, I mean, we are lagging behind in terms of everything. We complain a lot as a people, but we are not doing much to change our situation. America is America, not because it promised free. Indeed, our people love free. Everybody loves free. So as a leader, you need to be decisive and know what is best for the country and do it, and not think about how to win the next election. That has not taken us for the last decades.
Okay. Let me remind you that the MPP's rep, he was communicating from the Volta region. He went on a campaign through. He's the MPP USA treasurer. He came to town and then straight to the Volta region to convince and win votes. And as we speak, the network hasn't helped him, so he wouldn't be able to join us to continue the discussion. Meanwhile, let me come to a 1 minute rebuttal from the Joshua Esser of the NDC. Then we'll go to our next topic before we predict the winner of the election. Joshua, are you there?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here.
Good. You heard General
So then,
Sami.
first of all, like I would just like to pass this comment to them.
Good.
Since hello.
Yeah, Joshua, you are on air.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, so like as I was saying, I just want to just pass this through like just 1 minute.
Okay.
First of all, I mean, since times immemorial, and then with our biblical understanding, I mean, the serpent has always been known for being a very deceptive animal. So I'm not surprised. I mean, by the demeanor of our current president. I mean, being described as a mother of serpents by Martin Amidu. So I wouldn't be surprised. But then let me bust your bubble, General Sami.
Yeah.
So then, first of all, there's an insider information that the Scholarship Secretariat is going to offer scholarships for 15,000 students. 15,000. So this means that not even all the free agents just to get scholarships. That's the first thing. Secondly, when they say scholarship, that doesn't mean that there's full absorption of fees. This can be that it's going to be half or half not. But then, like what you said, I mean, to score political points, I mean, the NPP has come out with a very, very vague communique that, hey, just people are going to be absorbed. I mean, they're going to be getting scholarships. And I'm not shocked. So then, like what you said, I mean, this is a deliberate and calculated attempt to make sure that you only find out what the real issues are after the elections. After you voted for them and you get to know that they come and tell you that, you know what, I mean, I didn't even give a number to the scholars. I didn't tell them whether it's going to be full scholarship or half scholarship or what's not. I just said scholarship and you fell into it. I mean, this is political dishonesty from the part of the NPP. So, like what my friend is saying, and then personally as a student of sociology and then education, I mean, I'm a graduate with a degree in sociology with education. I would like to touch on the policies of the NDC.
Okay.
If you read the release from the NDC said that the committee set on education from the party were the people who came out with the recommendation that the first year's fees should be absorbed.
Okay.
Regardless, the champion policy which we began with that we are going to absorb 50% of all students still stands, which means that it's only first year students who are going to enjoy the Fanina policy, which means that they are going to absorb the fees of all the students who are going to be in the first year, but the continuation are going to still enjoy that particular freebie of having 50% off. This is a decisive policy. This is a policy that you can point out to that, you know what, you promise that you're going to do this and this and that. What can you pinpoint to with the Scholarship Secretariat's promise that is going to absorb free SHS graduates? What can you point to? Is it a full scholarship? Is it a half scholarship? Can you pinpoint to that? No. So when it comes to decisiveness, I think the NDC has gone a long way to be decisive on its educational policies than the NPP in this even dying or last minutes of the elections. So I'd want to make that clear. And then secondly, I'd always want to put across that policy is given to individuals based on policy directions. So you can't make a policy for foreigners. I mean, you can't make a policy without looking at the direction of the individuals who are going to enjoy that particular benefit. Hence, there is a need for those things to happen. So if a committee has started and got to know that, you know what, you had a policy of having Chimpe getting 50% off, but then the chunk or the target of your people that you are talking to, that's the new entries. I've gone through this and this and this particular thing, hence they need this extra relief. I mean, it's a listening government and a thoughtful manifesto team who would, I mean, tweak the tenets of the policy to suit the individual that they are working for. Remind you, the name of our policy is the People's Manifesto, which means that it is centered on the people. So what the people say is what must be done. This is a manifesto for the people, by the people, to the people. So these are some of the things that we should have in mind when we are making conversations on the NDC manifesto. I mean, that should be the background or the backbone for our conversations when it comes to manifesto, that it's a manifesto tailored by the people, for the people, and to the people. Hence, if the individuals or the people that this manifesto is targeting are saying that we want this tweaking to it because of this and this and that, then that should be adhered to. Now, let me go to the funding. I mean, it's public knowledge that over 2 trillion of our oil revenues haven't been accounted for under this particular government since 2017.
Okay.
Ask yourself, do you know how many things that 2 trillion can do in this country?
All right, Joshua.
Can absorb.
Joshua.
Yes, please.
Yes, I want us to take our time and explain the funding, because I've received messages and everybody's asking about the funding. So gradually explain the funding so that we can all get it clear.
Like what I'm saying, so like what I said, the NPP have not been able to account for 2 trillion, 2 trillion of our oil revenues since they took office in 2017. This means that if you have a government that is going to be able to work on this particular canker, which means that you are able to account for, let's say, even half of it, which is going to be, let's say, 1 trillion. 1 trillion can make sure that this Fanina and this Kempe policy is absorbed, is taken care of. This 1 trillion can make sure that the arrears that has to do with our electricity, our water can be catered for. Remember, in the last one of these last interviews by our flag bearer and the visionary ex-president John Dramani Mahama, who inshallah we know that by 9th of December would be the next president of Ghana, said that he plans of using part of the oil revenue to take care of this particular policy of Femina and Chimampe. He was very emphatic on it because he knew what the oil revenue, the kind of revenue that it brings to the country. I mean, when he was president, he had only 1 oil rig. And as visionary as he is, and knowing that we needed to generate revenue for this country, he added 2 different oil rigs to it before he left power.
Okay.
So this means that if he's even going to use an estimation of what up 200% of that in addition, and he's anticipating that regardless of our economic hardships, that regardless of what we are going to experience with this depression we are going to go through after this COVID season in terms of our economy, we can be able to jojo and then, keep ourselves up with revenue from the oil sector alone. I mean, mind you, on his interview with Kwesi Pratt, he said that 2016 budget was done with not borrowing even 1 cent, 1 cedi or 1 peso from the central bank. This should show you that the NDC had a plan to make sure that the economy was going to be in a good shape looking forward, that we would reduce borrowing from the central bank and all those things. So if this is a party or a government in power, which when having 1 oil rig could have its final year budget in power without borrowing a cent from the central bank, why can't you trust this government?
All right.
Why
Joshua,
can't you trust this government?
Joshua.
Yes, please.
I think
Yes.
as our time too is running, let me put this across. Let's have 2-minute discussion on the peace pact. Yesterday, both party members signed a peace pact ahead of the elections, and your candidate John Mahama reiterated the happiness of Ayawaso West Wogan and believed that this time there should be something positive. What is your say on the peace pact and the speech from your candidate?
So then, first of all, there's no bad thing. We can only move forward when we are able to understand what's in the past, make corrections to it, then we can move forward. So re-echoing or rehashing the happiness in Ayawaso West was not in the bad direction, but then was supposed to serve as a reminder that in as much as we want to look for peace, we should also look at what has happened in the past and then make improvements on it, which means that we don't want to have individuals who will come in with the masks, security men, claiming that they are preventing mosquito bites in the morning and in the afternoon. We don't want those things to happen. So those things should be a thing of the past. So with the peace pact, with all honesty and all sincerity, know that the NDC has been very peaceful. Right from our founder, transitioning this nation from into democracy. I mean,
All right,
those are
Joshua, can you please
the constitution.
reposition your
Peacefully,
camera?
yes.
Your camera, can you please raise it a bit for us? Yeah, it's okay now. Let's go.
Is it okay now?
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. I mean, changing, peacefully transforming this country into a democratic state, handing over peacefully after he lost the elections in 2000. This will show you that the NDC has a very good track record of adhering to peace and then understanding that this elections is supposed to be peaceful. And then whether the NDC wins or not, we would make sure that we comport ourselves, and then we would make sure that the country is transitioned smoothly without any haywire anywhere. So I would like to first of all also use this opportunity to get to the sympathizers of the NDC and all well-meaning Ghanaians that this elections should be one that thinks about the country, that everyone should humbly and peacefully go in and cast their ballots, and then be peaceful and be decorum in their activities. I mean, there's only one Ghana. In as much as we have different political parties and we are vouching for different ideologies, and we believe in the competencies of individuals, this is the only Ghana we have. There's no place that any Ghanaian can call home than Ghana. Hence, as individuals, as Ghanaians, we should be very peaceful. We shouldn't allow ourselves to be instigated by any political party or any individual who wants to put this country in mayhem. Remember, if the country goes into mayhem, we all suffer.
Yeah, sure.
And then the individuals who don't even have that means to, first of all, afford to run away from this country would be the ones that are going to suffer the most.
Good.
Hence,
Let me
be the banner of this particular election.
Good. Let me come to General Sami. General Sami, are you there?
I'm here.
Yes. We are looking at peace. The peace pact. Do you have anything to say about that? And then there's speech by both candidates. Do you think there is a sign of peace in the elections? Because our political parties can promise us peace and still have a backroom plans to either rig, to snatch boxes, or to do whatever, because they don't trust each other. Do you think yesterday's peace pact will have any impact?
Well, I think it will have very minimal impact on this election.
Okay.
Violence in our elections will come, whether there's peace pact or not. So what the peace pact will do is to tame them in a way and to show the international observers that we are together, we are one in going to the election. But so far as I'm concerned, once we still have political vigilantism groups in Ghana, we still have invisible forces, burger bulldogs, and so on and so forth. We are still going to have
Invisible
issues.
forces.
Yes, we are going to have issues in this country. Because if you look at what happened in Ayawaso and the president's response, like, it tells me that the politicians like talking and they don't want to act. The reason why Manasseh Azuri is no longer with multimedia is because he made a documentary that seemed to suggest that the president had given a go-ahead to a militia group to train people at the castle. He's jobless now. So what it tells you is that the situation is more than a peace pact. There has to be a commitment, an actual commitment, and not the usual rhetoric that we get. I don't think that it will have any significant impact on the peace of this election. The peace will be determined by Ghanaians who have several opinions, think that the election is about electing who is best fit for office in this election. The peace pact will do very little because you still see people snatching ballot boxes. That is usual. Some people may even die, because of this election. And if you look at what is happening now in our border towns, I think that we are far from peace. We shouldn't be so relaxed that there's been a peace accord, and so all is going to be fine. It's going to be messy.
All right. And let's get to our predictions for 2020. Who is winning this election, General Sami?
Well, I think you should ask the NDC.
Let me go there first and come back to you. Yes, Joshua, who is winning the election? I don't expect
So then,
the affirmative anyway.
with my with my little travels, I mean, I'm an individual. I mean, I'm a cosmopolitan individual. I mean, I'm from Takrady. I've stayed in Takrady most of my life.
Okay.
I'm a Fanti from the Sopon. I'm from Sopon. I'm from the central region, and I've also been in Accra for the past 5 years, or
Okay.
6 years since I completed university. I've still been in Accra. So I mean, during these elections, I've toured the country a little. I mean, I've gone to my hometown. I've gone to Takrady. I've spoken to a lot of people from a lot of places, and this is what I can say: the NDC is going to win the elections not because of popularity. I mean, individuals are quiet. There's a silent storm that is coming because individuals are quiet to actually come out to come and be vocal against the MPP because of how vindictive this government is. I mean, it's no news that this government has been very hostile to anything that is not related to them. I mean, we can talk about the closing of GN banks. I mean, you can't say that GN bank was closed because what? I mean, because I'm sure that the NPP perceives there's going to be a third force to reckon with in some years to come. Hence, I mean, what best way to kill a third force than to kill its financial institution? So we've seen how the NPP has been very hostile with everything that has to do with anti their party or that doesn't support that particular agenda. Hence, individuals are very, very careful coming out and then showing their allegiance for the NDC. But let me tell you that individuals have made up their mind. Individuals have made up their mind that we are tired of this corruption. I mean, the kind of hope that we had in the NPP. I'm not going to lie. I'm an NDC person, all right, but then I had a lot of hope in 2016. I mean, General Sami would know this because I mean, when I was in the University of Ghana and I was in Sabah, he was a senior of mine and he knew how enthused I was.
Okay.
Regardless of my political party, because I mean, if you look at the track record and you followed the history of Ghana, you can see how Akufo-Addo as an individual has contributed to our democracy. I mean, with a lot of court cases on our constitution. I mean, with demonstration, all those things. I mean, you wouldn't have expected.
Yeah, for those who may not. Yeah, let me come in. For those who may not have the idea about candidate Akufo-Addo's historical support. In 1994-95, he was part and was spokesperson for the Kumipreku demo, and that demo also led to some 3 people dying. He's been part of constitutional issues, and then he also became a foreign minister before becoming a candidate to become president. So he has done a lot for the country, which is obvious. Joshua, are you there?
Yes. So
good.
Yeah, so like what I was saying, I mean, with this track record, we expected so much from him. I mean, he injected so much hope into the system that we felt like after 2 years of Akufo-Addo's government, I mean, we would see tremendous changes. We'll see what we actually thought that we were going to see people, I mean, fight corruption.
Good.
So when I the first time I saw the president actually sack someone for being corrupt and not prosecute the person and not actually make sure the person refunds that money back to the country, I was like, wow, I'm actually surprised. I was like, oh, you know what? I mean, this is the first time. Let's see what happens next.
Okay.
And has been continuous ever since. So this has shown that the Akufo-Addo-led administration has not just failed the MPP government, but has failed all individuals who had hope in him, who had hope in the personality that if he wins, I mean, he was running for president, has been vying to become the president since 2008. I mean, someone who has sat down, planned to become president and lost, I mean, 2 consecutive times. I mean, you know that you should think that he has a very laid out plan to make sure that he puts the country on the right track.
All right. So Joshua,
but unfortunately,
Joshua,
I mean,
any
we
percentage?
are seeing something adverse from it.
Yeah, any percentage for the NDC?
Oh, I'm looking at a 52.5.
52.5. First round?
Yes, for the NDC.
First round?
Yes, I'm looking at a first round victory. I'm looking at I mean, I don't want, personally, I'm being biased because I don't want my Christmas to be muddied with political activities. Once, I mean, we are going to, I mean, if it's going to be runoff, it's going to be slated around.
Let me. So you think a first round victory for John Dramani Mahama?
Yes, it's possible.
52%.
Inshallah. 52.5%.
0.5. There's an additional point.
Yes.
And you are very sure.
Yes, I'm very certain.
Let me.
I'm not a prophet. I don't want to be quoted.
Yeah, I wanted to come to issues about prophecy and statistics. You look at University of Ghana's science department, political science department. They said MPP is winning. CDD Ghana said MPP. We have our own Benefsin said MPP is winning. And so you could realize that all the polls are going in the direction of the MPP. Shockingly, all the spiritualists and the prophets are coming in the way of the NDC. Aside Owusu Bempa, who is a known spiritualist for the MPP, you realize that the statistics, the intellectuals' statistics are all saying that the MPP is winning. Though polls of late are having their own dimensions and not changes and all that. But you realize the US polls and the adverse effect. But you look at the spiritualists too, from the Nigel Gazes, from the All Prophets, from even Malam Shuman, the numerologist, he also said that the NDC is winning. So we are now competing ideas with statistics and spirits. I don't know. How do you feel? If your party is being...
I feel so excited.
You're rather, right?
Yeah, I'm feeling so excited. I'm feeling so excited in the sense that, I mean, polls are supposed to give a fair reflection of how things are going to go.
That's true.
And like what I said, I mean, people are afraid of coming out
to support the NDC
because of vindictiveness. Yes, and they've got vindictiveness. So then, I mean, I've seen individuals where on friends of mine where on social media or anything and are just quiet. But anytime I have conversations with them in their PMs about the NDC and what the NDC has to do, they actually resonate with it and they tell that, you know what, we are going to vote for the NDC.
Okay.
But anytime there's going to be social media,
what?
Any vote.
Yeah, earlier there were social media advantages to the NDC as well, though. But I don't know. After the elections, I don't think I'll have any time within the week. Unless Saturday, unless there is a new change in production, I will only host you on Saturday. Saturday we should be back here for a news. Don't you think so?
Yes, we will. I mean, in Saturday I think I'll be wearing a white kaftan because you had already won the elections.
Wow. So I should be meeting. So Saturday we are getting a victorious song from the NDC.
Oh, we are.
All right. Then so when you win, should the NDC win the election? You need to organize a party for the forum since your prediction was on our show.
When the NDC wins power, I'm looking at for a government that is going to mean serious business. Not going to be business as usual. I want a government that is going to get right on track. I'm a very ideological.
Great. Yeah. Your submissions depict that.
It's supposed to get on track right after it. So I'm not going to wobble and then be so joyous that we won election that we have to lose focus of the reason why we are in government is to make sure that the youth have jobs, to make sure that the lives of individuals are better, to make sure that what we promise as free healthcare comes into power. That, for example, I've never used national health insurance before. So when I was scheduled for an operation, I paid for every single thing. So what happens to the individuals who are not able to even renew it? So that means that the over 18 million Ghanaians who are not on national health, because I mean, statistics show that only 12 million of Ghanaians are on national health. What happens to them? So this is what the NDC
let me give you
winning the elections.
Let me give you an NDC song whilst I get to General Sami.
Oh yes.
All right.
I'll be very happy with that. I'll be elated.
All right, sure. I want to see you dance. 52%. Unbelievable.
Yeah, 52.5.
Behind all, sir. 52.5% for the NDC. Joshua SL. He's saying too short. My name is Ellis Ferdinand.
Summer Radio.
This election is between spiritualists and intellectuals. NDC goes spiritual. 3 days fasting. And I'm sure that is a secret.
1 million jobs, mama.
MPP says it is intellectuals. Then they will statistics and polls.
Summer Radio.
I won't be shocked when there is a 52.5% for the NDC, because this is a prediction of my show.
Summer Radio.
All right, let me get to General Sami to close my show. General Sami, are you there?
Oh, I'm here.
He is a political analyst from the University of Ghana. General Sami, I think this morning has been interesting. We are predicting winners of the election, and we are getting a 52.5% for the NDC. General Sami, what do you have to say for this?
Well, first, let me say that Joshua is on the show, and so he's kind of intimidating me. I should say, but I heard you say a lot of people, I mean, so-called prophets are making predictions for the NDC, and analysts and statisticians are
Going for the
also
NPP.
making
So you realize that it's a spiritual game versus electorals.
Yes. Well, from my perspective, there's nothing like a spiritual game. I believe in the science and the figures.
All right.
I don't believe that what the so-called prophets are saying has any impact on the election. Indeed, it shapes people's opinions.
Yeah, good.
To who is winning the election? I do not think that the NDC is winning the election by 52%, 0.5% as Joshua indicated. And on the totality, last week we had this discussion when I mentioned that the victor of this election is going to be determined by more than just a piece of paper in the ballot box. Joshua and I have had this discussion elsewhere. I strongly believe that a lot will happen from today to 5 p.m. on January 7th, December 7th, sorry. A lot will happen, and that have all been factored into analysis that I've made. Based on the figures that are available and the data available, and looking at the election from 1992 and comparing trends, I should say that the NPP has a better chance of winning this election than the NDC. The NPP is likely to do around 52%.
Wow. MPP will be getting 52%.
Yes. For the presidential. I do not think that the election will enter into a runoff. I mentioned the other time that the smaller parties are not strong enough to put this election into a runoff, and so it's going to be a one-touch victory for who the president is going for. So on the totality, all things being equal, I think that the NPP will win the presidential election. However, I believe that, or I think that per my analysis and based on the data available, it seems to me that we're going to witness a situation that the country has not witnessed before. That is, having a presidential, having a president that is NPP and a parliament that is NDC. That is what I see happening. And so I think that the NDC will win majority of the seats in parliament. There's one particular seat I would like to mention, but
give me the name.
knows my opinion on that.
Is it the Ayawaso West Wugon?
Yes, that is
yes,
my
definitely.
constituency. That is my
That is
constituency.
The John
That is why I
Dumelo
voted.
Man Leader constituency.
Yes,
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 yes. It's an
the
interesting
ideal
con-
for you factor.
That constituency has its own issues to discuss.
Yes, it
Let's see
does.
what
It does.
happens. The
And I'm very
Jemelu.
well vested in that constituency.
Mm,
Unfortunately, I've not had time to be on the grounds for this particular election. So even my analysis and my predictions are mostly based on figures and not what is actually happening.
is Jemelu
on
taking
the
that
ground.
constituency?
I would like to reserve my comments on that for now.
Because it has been a very sensitive constituency. You realize that some actors went there to campaign against him. Later on, some also came to support him. It's been a very interesting constituency, actually.
Yes, and like I said, I vote in the constituency. I have very good relationship
Okay.
with both sides in the constituency, and I have clear opinion on who is winning the election. But
Wow.
for the sake of a thing or two, I think I would like to keep my comments to myself for now.
So
And
there shall be a
the
winner.
NDC
There shall be a winner.
the NDC will win majority of the seats in parliament. But you see, what we have to know is that it has been a trend that since 1992, whoever wins a majority in
Wins
parliament
president.
goes ahead to win the presidential. But I think that it might be different this time. If you look at the NPP campaign, the focus has been on re-electing President Nana Akufo-Addo
than the
than
MPs.
re-electing their members of parliament.
That's true.
And the NDC is so much focused on the two, and doing whatever it can to win more seats in parliament and also win the presidential.
All right.
It is also important to note that there are some 2 or 3 regions that will influence this election as always. The Greater Accra region, which is a big factor, the Central region, which is a significant region, and the Western region and Brong-Ahafo region.
Okay.
This time, honestly, I don't know how much or what role the Brong-Ahafo region will play. In 2016, we all thought that Central Brong-Ahafo would be an important region for the NDC, but it didn't turn out that way. The Lodina factor we thought would play a role. Rather, it turned out something else. But the Lodina factor has not played so much role in this campaign. And
All right.
so
General Sami, I don't know if I will be hosting any show within the week, but on Saturday we should be back to get the prophets and then the analysis working.
Well, yes. I would actually love for us to even have a show on Monday so that when the results are coming in, we are having a good time. So I know Joshua will be on the ground, so he won't have that time. But
Maybe
I'll have time. I'll have time.
I think the production
On a
team
Monday.
will check if they can work on that. Either Monday or Monday night, post election.
Yes. Monday night will be cool. So
Yeah.
when the results start trickling in, we see how. I mean, I think it will be interesting.
Yes.
But, again, let me say that all things being equal, MPP will win the election based on the available data. And
All right.
NDC.
So you are the statistical prophet.
Stay 4 years for Nana.
All right. Thank you very much. Thanks for passing through. All right. So I'll see if the production team can work on my Monday night, if it's possible, so that we can look at analysis after the elections on Monday. Thank you very much to our sponsors.
Summer Radio.
We've exhausted the timer. Thanks to our sponsors: Summer Hill Estate, Summer Block Factory, Sparrow Security, the sports crew getting ready. All right, get ready for the election arena. We shall look at a lot of issues at the election arena. Who wins the election? We continue at the arena. Coach is ready. Vic is ready. Thanks to the team. King Josie always. And my DJ today is DJ Million Million, $1 million man. Get ready. The show, the forum. My name is Ellis Ferdinand. It has been great discussion today with the MPP and the NDC.
2020.
I want to say goodbye. We may meet on Monday night if the production team works on that, or Saturday morning as usual. It's been great. And until then, I want to say goodbye to the whole crew.